Okay, so Sonic Racing CrossWorlds has been out across all platforms for a little bit now, and with the PC port out, that gives us the chance to test out the game on Mac. And to do that, I've gathered 4 machines to test out compatibility, performance, and stability. While it's pretty clear cut, there are some things you need to do before you can play. So without further ado, let's get started. For one, you're going to need the latest version of Crossover 25. You don't necessarily need Crossover Preview, but you can't use a super old version of Crossover either. You'll also need macOS Tahoe to get the game working. There are reports of it working on Sequoia, but I personally could not get that to happen. If you can get it to work, let me know in the comments. This video assumes you already have both Crossover and Steam set up on your Mac. If you don't have Crossover already, head to the website using my affiliate link to buy your license. You're going to want to buy the game, ideally with my affiliate link down below, and then install it like any other. This game is efficient enough to run off a microSD card, which I've done on my MacBook Pro here. In my experience, CrossWorlds is somewhat picky with how you launch it. Within Crossover, before you open Steam, you need to go up to Run with Options, and under Environment Variables, add Advertise AVX Support. Wow, that was a lot of syllables. Even though most AVX games don't need this toggled, CrossWorlds does for whatever reason, but once you have that turned on, the game should boot no problem. Don't ask me why, but you need to install Unreal Engine every time you try to play the game, but once you skip through that, you're in. The game isn't too picky with controllers, as I've tested a DualShock 4, DualSense, Xbox Series controller, and this GameSir Nova 2 Lite I was sent by GameSir. Thank you, GameSir. The in-game settings are all fairly limited and self-explanatory. The high preset has all settings at either high or on with 100% resolution scale using TSR. Low preset does the opposite, running at 50% res scale with FXAA, and all settings at low are off. This game doesn't use any sort of lumen or nanite, so performance is actually pretty good. Now, it does depend on the chip inside your Mac, as well as the amount of RAM it has. For any 8GB machine, this game is going to be essentially unplayable. In my experience, the game uses up to about 12GB of RAM, so a 16GB machine is basically a minimum. But as far as the chip goes, what is the minimum? Well, friend of the channel Andrew Tai tried out Sonic Racing CrossWorlds on his M1 MacBook Air, after I bribed him. At 1080p output with 50% res scale and low graphics, the game can comfortably hit 30 FPS. While that doesn't sound great, these settings are fairly comparable to Nintendo Switch. As you can see though, frame delivery is pretty poor. Changing to DirectX 11 doesn't fix this either, it actually makes it worse. While I don't have a 16GB M2 or M3 chip, I do have this M4 Mac Mini, which runs the game quite well. At the high preset with 75% res scale of 1080p, the game is basically locked at 60 FPS with the occasional shader compilation stutter. Switching between CrossWorlds can also incur performance drops, though very temporary. I'm also happy to report online play is flawless, or to be more specific, it's flawless compared to playing on Windows. The disconnection issues I run into are all due to the game itself, not macOS or Wine. If you're running into performance issues, the game will kick you out of an online session, so make sure you have your settings right before you hop into a lobby. For some reason, the game won't let you mess with your settings at all when you're connected to online. The other Macs I have performed fairly similar to the M4. The M2 Pro is essentially identical in this game with the same settings. Running at 100% res scale keeps the game basically pegged at 50-ish FPS, which does cause slowdown, so 75% is necessary in this case. For my M3 Pro, again 75% res scale was a requirement for consistent performance. I did find that 1080p at the low preset with full resolution scaling did work, but it was spotty. Some stages would still dip below 60 FPS, and I wasn't able to play online with those settings. However, there was a regression in performance going from the open network test to the final game, as Mac Pro Tips tested the M4 Mac Mini and was able to get a consistent 60 FPS online at 1080p resolution scale back in August. The same thing was observed on the Steam Deck too, so this is more than just a Mac issue. Hopefully Sega can recognize and then fix this issue with a future patch. The only problem I don't have a solution to right now is the audio. While the game sounds fine in terms of its quality, there's a piece that's missing. Character dialogue is essentially mute. Because the game supports surround sound, a mono or stereo speaker setup won't actually be able to play the channel that holds the dialogue. The only solution that I'm aware of is plugging your Mac into a device that downmixes the audio itself. For example, my capture card supports surround sound over HDMI, so it's able to take the signal and then downmix it in OBS, so the dialogue shows up in recordings. Some TVs may be able to do this for you as well. A proper surround sound system should be able to fix this anomaly too, but unfortunately, headphones didn't fix this problem either. I tried wired and wireless headphones, including my 3rd gen AirPods Pro, and the game doesn't recognize them as surround sound capable. I'm unaware of any way to force a downmix through crossover, so if you can think of a solution, please let me know in the comments below. And if it works, I will pin the comment. Before I go, I want to discuss a mod that I believe is essential for anybody playing this game on a MacBook. On every Apple Silicon MacBook, the game will have black bars on the top and the bottom. Thankfully, we can use this aspect ratio mod by Lyle to mitigate the problem. It's a bit complicated to set up, but I think it's 100% worth it. First, download the mod from the page in the description. Go to the game directory, then put the mod files in Union, binaries, then Win64. Once that's done, make sure any apps running through crossover are closed, then click on Wine Configuration in crossover. Click on Libraries, then type WinMM in the overrides box. Type it exactly how it's shown on screen here. Once you have it added to your library, click on it in the list and then click Edit, making sure that native, then built-in is chosen for the option. Click Apply, then OK, and you're done. Within Steam, do not put the Wine DLL override instruction as the mod page says, otherwise the game will not start. And that's it. Your game will now take advantage of the entire screen and it looks glorious. Do keep in mind that this isn't perfect though. Many on-screen effects are designed exclusively for 16:9, so certain bits may not line up properly. But that's a small trade-off compared to gaining the extra real estate. It looks so good. But for now, that about does it. Apple just announced the M5 chip for the MacBook Pro, and it's shaping up to be quite a big improvement in the GPU department. Once it comes to the Mac Mini, I'll probably pick one up to do some testing for you guys. I'm working on a video for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds on the last generation of consoles, so Xbox One and PS4 Pro, along with Nintendo Switch. I'm hoping I can get that one out pretty quickly after this one, ideally by the end of the month. And before I go, I want to shout out Ozzy Crystal over at the Patreon, and I also want to shout out the fact that I do have YouTube memberships if you're looking to support me there as well. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.